Hey, you listen to Wrestling Roundup on FreeFM and ArrowFM. As always, I'm Grady, and live on Skype we got Josh.
Yo,
Raw, we're starting off. Roman Reigns, he ain't getting another shot at Money in the Bank.
no, he's not getting any money in the bank, and him and Jinder are going to have a feud.
It's like a weird universe still. I thought after Jinder finished his WWE Championship run, they'd shuffle him down the card and we'd never see him again. That was not the case.
I'm glad, because it pisses off the normies.
Well, no. It pisses off the rest of the internet wrestling community. I feel like the casual viewer doesn't care. It depends who you define as normies. But yeah, it makes sense to not put Reigns in the Money in the Bank match. He wouldn't win it. Feud with Jinder. I don't know what Reigns' future holds, so I can't really see past Jinder here. Usually, with the big star, you can look at him and go, okay, well, after this feud, he's going to move on to this guy, or he's going to move on to this guy. I can't do that. He's got Jinder now. What happens after? I don't know. We'll see. But the other Shield member who's actively competing, Seth Rollins, he's riding high. Open challenges left and right.
Eh, should be some interesting matches that have come out of this. I think being that was in the should have been Pete Dunne to answer it.
Yeah. It was the thing with open challenges is that there's always so many great opportunities.
But the problem was they announced who was answering it like 4 days before the show.
Yeah.
That was the problem.
Usually the best thing about them is that you have so many opportunities. Yeah, in this case, Kevin did it. He didn't win, as expected. As you said, it would have made much more sense to have a hometown guy come out. UK champion makes sense. All I can think of when I think back to open challenges recently is I think back to the John Cena ones, and there were a lot of good open challenges with John Cena. There were a lot of good open challenges recently. I feel like a mid-card title for some reason seems to have an obligation to have an open challenge if it's a face champion. It's just a rule written in everybody's contracts. But I look forward to seeing who Seth faces next week, if he's going to continue doing it.
Yeah, because it definitely looks like at this point he doesn't actually have a feud.
No.
That's fine, because he's supplementing that with the open challenges until they figure out where they want to go.
That's pretty much what open challenges are for, right? They're just to stopgap you until your next proper meaningful feud. It just happens that it may be a little while for Seth.
Yes, especially with the fact that he's not, apparently, at least at this point, not going to be in the Money in the Bank match. He never even was in the qualifying match for it.
No, I think at this point we know everybody who could potentially be in it.
Yeah, I think Raw had to have their roster filled by Monday night, as far as the men's match went. So yeah, we know who's going to be in it from the Raw standpoint. But it was just weird that the Intercontinental Champion didn't even have a chance to be in the match.
Usually you've got at least one mid-card champion in there, right?
Yeah.
I feel like there normally is. I don't know if that's a rule or just something that I've noticed, recency bias or what, but it feels like there normally is. But talking about Money in the Bank, Bobby Roode versus No Way Jose versus Baron Corbin. The Money in the Bank match got a little bit more glorious.
Yeah, not surprised. I still have my favorite, but there's definitely several possible winners here.
Looking at the list, I'd love to say that everybody in this match could win. Not the case. Love to say it though. The other match in the night was Bobby Lashley versus Kevin Owens versus Elias to see who was going to qualify.
And once you knew that somebody had been entered in by Stephanie, you knew it was going to be Kevin Owens. And when you knew that, then you knew he had the win.
Yep.
Because there's only one person that would have called Stephanie, and that was Kevin Owens.
Yep.
That had already had a chance.
I would have liked to see Elias.
Elias as Mr. Money in the Bank would have been perfect. It would literally write itself.
I saw something on the internet about him carrying around the contract in a guitar case instead of a briefcase. I liked that idea. I In a perfect world, I'd pick Elias to have won that match, entered himself, and ended up winning the briefcase, but we are not in a perfect world. Or at least one not controlled by me. So that is not what we get for now. And instead we get Kevin Owens as the last Raw competitor to slot himself in. Women's division time. In something that didn't even happen on Raw, it happened on, like, at some interview, Nia Jax challenges Ronda Rousey or the other way around. They're having a title match.
And it was Nia that issued the challenge.
That's what I thought, yeah.
I actually don't think Nia's title reign ends here.
So it's not Rip Nia?
No, because I think somebody gets involved in the match that costs Ronda the match. Maybe not with the win. Maybe results in a disqualification.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't loses the title here because it's too soon to put it on Ronda, and it's too soon to take it off Nia.
Yeah, it honestly seems like a weird timing.
So I believe Natalya turns heel
again
and costs Ronda the match.
Yeah. The more obvious choice is the Mickie James, but I agree with you in that Nia's title reign has been too short for it to end here, and I agree with you that Ronda is not ready for the championship. Although, knowing the WWE, I would not be surprised if they gave Ronda the title here. I would be disappointed. I would not be surprised.
You wouldn't be mad, just disappointed.
Yeah. So yeah, I also expect something to happen. Don't quite know what just yet. I don't know if this will be a series of matches, if this will be a one-off. Obviously, if you have an interference from a person, you would expect the next Ronda match to be versus that person. And Nia can move on to something else. I guess it makes Nia look like a strong and confident champion if she's out there challenging Ronda Rousey and putting her title on the line, right? So, if she doesn't lose the title, she gets a lot out of this match in terms of her character and looking tough. I know I wouldn't challenge Ronda Rousey. She could have both arms tied behind her back and I wouldn't challenge her.
She'd still rip your arm off with her legs and beat you to death with them.
I would love to see that. And then, still in the women's division, Bayley versus Alexa Bliss versus Mickie James leads to Alexa Bliss sliding her way into the women's Money in the Bank.
Yeah, and so much for the injury. I was actually surprised Alexa won, to be completely honest.
Okay.
If I was booking, I would have actually booked Mickie to win that match.
Okay.
I would have Mickie take advantage of a situation that was like a distraction or something, and had her pin Alexa and win the match and go on to the Money in the Bank match. But at least we're not going to have Alexa in a title match for the first time since TLC and Backlash in 2016.
Yep.
Unless she wins the damn briefcase.
Wins the briefcase, cashes it in that night. Back to being champion.
But yeah, she's been in a title match every pay-per-view since the introduction of the SmackDown Women's Championship.
I now fear that the women's Money in the Bank will be cashed in that night.
I put that out there.
They haven't done it yet. Sure, it's only the second one, but they haven't done it yet. It would be new. It would be exciting.
It'd be different compared to the first one being held for 9 months.
Yep. I feel like that might be why they do it. Well, we'll have to wait and find out. And then in the tag team match, Braun Strowman, Finn Balor, Drew McIntyre, Dolph Ziggler. You excited for Dolph Ziggler?
Apparently a 10-year-old kid is better than Finn Balor.
Yep. You excited for Dolph Ziggler yet?
Nope. And I won't be excited for Drew McIntyre until he dumps Dolph Ziggler.
Oh, come on.
I don't care. I simply don't care. As long as those two are together, I do not care.
You gotta look past the Dolph to see the Drew.
Sorry. You can't right now. That's the whole character.
No. Damn it. It's only because I hate to agree with you. I love Drew. He is perfect. I liked him on his first run. Dude was great. Wanted good things from him. Got mixed things from him. Ends up leaving, comes back, awesome matches in NXT. This guy's gonna be great. Let's put him back on the... You put him with Dolph. So I will just continue to lie to myself about the fact that this doesn't ruin him, and that it is perfectly fine, and I can just ignore the Dolph. I can just ignore him. Probably. We also had the Revival versus, what we calling them? The Deleters of World?
Yeah, I think that's what the name's been settled on.
Okay. 100% lock it in. Who shall challenge these two?
Well, there was a tag team that actually won a match for the first time ever earlier in the night that challenged them.
Please tell me you're talking about the B team.
Yes.
They're perfect.
Why not? That was fun.
Can they win the titles as well?
I would like to see them get thrown into the Lake of Reincarnation, though.
Yeah. I don't know what would happen with Curtis. Curtis has so many options he could fall into.
Axomania, brah!
Like, I could foresee that happening for a few seconds. I very much like I like Breezango, I very much like these two. I want to see
them
more.
being paired with Miz was the best thing that could ever have happened to them.
Mm-hmm.
It's really brought out their personalities.
Yeah. Curtis more than Bo. I wish I'd seen more of Curtis originally after the big explosion of the faction. But if we're getting around to him now, then we're getting around to him now, and I'm fine with that. But I got a feeling that the B team is still gonna very much be a comedy act and probably not be a legitimate tag team in the division for a little while. Just a little bad feeling in the back of my head.
Well, it's the same division that also contains Fandango.
Yeah.
And who have been recently hanging out with No Way Jose.
Yeah.
And Titus Worldwide.
To be fair, everybody in the tag team division's been hanging out with No Way Jose. Yeah, it's a division, man. The worst part about Raw's tag team division is that it appears, as is tradition, with all tag teams from NXT, the Authors of Pain were DOA. They came up with nothing.
Yeah, I haven't seen them in a while.
Nope. Debut, dump your manager that got you over, and float off into the background. Why?
You know, I've heard a rumor.
Go. What will you regale me with the tale of?
That, if, and this is a major if,
Gotcha.
Roman ever turned heel, there's a rumor that he would be paired with the Authors of Pain.
Okay. Yeah, that'll never happen.
Yeah. That's why I said, if.
Yeah.
But there was a rumor that he could possibly be paired with them, and that would raise their stock, because it would definitely make them a dominant faction.
It would raise their stock. By raise their stock, do you mean actually get them on the show?
Obviously, because then they would be with the big dog, the top guy.
Anything that gets them on the show, man. I'm just sick of NXT tag teams being brought up with no plans and floundering without being used. This is like the 6th one, right? I'm thinking you got them, the Revival.
The Revival solely because of injuries. That one can't be counted.
They got goofed. They got goofed bad. Can I count the Ascension?
Yeah.
And I'm blanking on anybody else, but I'm sure there were more.
Enzo and Cass.
Yep. You can just pretty much list off any of the former NXT tag team champions.
Well, no, because then you'd be counting the Wyatt family.
True. I guess you can't count them, can you?
Nope. And then there's one tag team champion that can't be counted because
Corey ain't gonna wrestle.
Because Corey can't wrestle, and Neville debuted as a solo act.
The Lucha Dragons? They never really did much together on the main roster. The Vaudevillains,
No.
That's another example.
Yep.
American
and then you had
Alpha?
Neville or Oliver Gray.
Yeah, but they didn't show up together. I'm only gonna count people who showed up together. Did American Alpha do much?
They won the SmackDown Tag Team Championships for a couple months.
I completely forget that.
Before handing them off to the Usos, who then proceeded to hold them for 9 of the next 12 months.
Yeah, I completely forget that.
Oh.
Whoops.
And before Jason Jordan was then switched to Raw and announced as Kurt Angle's son.
Yep. I remember that.
Yeah.
And then Sanity were just crossing our fingers about. Really tightly crossed. Alright, well, we better get into the song. We're talking so much about Raw. It's Edge's theme song, because as Josh put it, it's Money in the Bank season. And you're back with Wrestling Roundup on FreeFM and ArrowFM. Grady and Josh, we're on the SmackDown side of the song. SmackDown side of the song. That is an alliteration. And we're going to start it off with anything but Daniel Bryan, Big Cass. Why even? There's going to be another match.
Yeah, we all knew that.
And then we get the announcement that Big Cass versus Samoa Joe for the last spot in the Money in the Bank for the men. Congratulations, Joe, on your spot.
Yeah, unlike Raw, SmackDown was not required to have their part of the card filled out.
Just hand the spot to Joe because Bryan and Cass are having another match. Let's not even faff about.
Yeah, that's about as likely as Jinder Mahal beating Jeff Hardy was.
But does it have more or less chance than Dolph Ziggler winning the title?
Less, because obviously Dolph Ziggler won.
Yeah, don't remind me, even though I brought it up. But the other spot, there you go.
Yeah, this is where I'm most interested. Which member of the New Day will enter the Money in the Bank ladder match?
Yeah, so to catch people up, the New Day beat the Bar in if you win, a member of your tag team can go into it. I'm gonna expect Big E. I'd like to see Kofi, but I'm gonna expect Big E.
I'm gonna expect Big E, but I'd rather see Xavier Wood.
Yeah? Just because he never gets any of the opportunities or spotlight?
Yeah, and he's been wrestling a lot more lately than he was in recent times.
Yeah, well, it used to be that Xavier was just the cheerleader on the side.
Yeah. But I expect Big E, and if Big E makes it in, I could very well see him actually winning it. Which was because I've been so steadfast with my prediction that Strowman's going to win.
Yeah.
If Big E does make it in, then for me it's a toss up between those two.
Honestly, if Big E makes it in and we just assume that Joe makes it in, that's a really strong field. You know, we're going to look a little higher level. We're not going to look at who has a really good chance. You know, Big E has a chance. Samoa Joe has a chance. Strowman has a chance. Finn has a chance. Rusev has a really tiny, minuscule chance. Miz has a chance. Kevin Owens, I'm going to put as the one guy I'm not giving a chance. Bobby Roode can have a chance. It's a strong field. And then if we look over to the women's side, we got another entrant as Becky Lynch defeats both Mandy Rose and Sonya Deville.
Yep. We'll definitely have to see where they go from here for these ladies. But it's definitely filling out to be a pretty good roster so far.
And the next one for SmackDown is going to be Billie Kay versus Lana.
Yep. Billy's obviously winning.
You sure? I'm not so sure.
I'm pretty sure. I don't see Lana winning.
I see Lana winning. Want to fight about it. Yeah. I don't know, they seem to always favor Peyton with the Iconics. So having Peyton lose her spot and giving one to Billie doesn't seem too optional to me. But the other person's Lana. Anyone else, I'd say that they have a 1,000% chance to win. I'm going to put it 60-40 Lana. And then you'll just favor Billie. Somehow I just bet against the Aussie. How'd that happen?
Yeah, that's what I was thinking the whole time.
I'm changing my vote.
You're really going against... Hey.
I changed my vote. And then also in that division, Asuka Carmella is going to be the SmackDown Women's Championship match. Is it?
I actually missed the announcement on this one.
Oh, okay.
And I came back and somebody was saying who would face Naomi for the final spot? And I'm like, Asuka. And Asuka's already in a title match. I'm like, what? Because Naomi hasn't even been announced in a qualifying match yet.
And SmackDown's got one more spot left after Kay Lana, don't they?
Yeah. I have no clue what they're thinking here. I could easily see Carmella dropping the title to Asuka here.
Yeah, I don't know.
Asuka's taken a lot of damage though since making her switch to SmackDown.
Yeah.
So I really don't know anymore.
I think we have to wait and see, because it's either gonna be the end of Carmella's reign, and it very much was just a way to get the briefcase used, get the title, and move it over to Asuka, or Carmella's just gonna cheat. There's no way Carmella wins clean.
We thought that against Charlotte on at the pay-per-view.
She has a Dolph Ziggler's chance in hell of beating Asuka clean. I'm putting me on the record. That's what I said. I'm looking at the SmackDown division as well. The only other person I can see is Tamina, as the only other woman on the division that hasn't had a chance. Potentially Zelina Vega, but I don't know if she'll be wrestling on.
Yeah, I suggested that, but most consensus was that it's just too early for her to be wrestling. Although they would rather her be wrestling.
I don't think there's anything stopping her. There's no reason for her to not be wrestling.
Except that she's a manager.
There's no reason other than the fact that WWE may decide to go the other way and keep her as a manager. So if WWE are willing to allow it and to put her in a qualifying match, go for it. Let her run with it. Other than that, yeah, Tamina is the only other one. Was Tamina in the WrestleMania
Tamina's injured.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure Tamina's still injured.
Let me check the entrance. Scroll. Okay, I don't care who won it. I know who won it. Can you just tell me who was in it? No, it can't. It's refusing to. WrestleMania 34? Was it? 35? 34?
Yeah, she was in the Royal Rumble match.
Okay.
The Women's Royal Rumble. But she tore her rotator cuff and is out for the injury. So there's no chance of her being in this qualifying match. Yeah, she was eliminated by Lita.
Yep. Okay. So put Nikki Bella in then, huh? She's making headlines. Is that a no? That sounds like a no.
Why not?
Why the hell not? It's depressing that that's the answer. And then tag team division, we jumped out of it, we're jumping back into it. Bludgeon Brothers, quote unquote, still waiting for competition. It's got to be Sanity, right?
Who knows? Honestly, who knows?
Who else are they waiting for? I'm sure they'll squash a couple more people on their way. Do we have a date yet for Sanity, or is it still just coming soon?
Yeah, I haven't seen the most recent promo. But I would assume they're still on their way. They haven't debuted yet.
Yeah. But who has debuted is Andrade CIEN ALMAS.
Which would make making Zelina as an option wouldn't actually make sense.
Yeah. Could still do it. Wouldn't make too much sense, but could. But just before we finish off the show, we're going to talk about 205 Live. We don't normally. We're going to talk about it. Buddy Murphy could get the title. Just saying.
I wouldn't have a problem with it, but Cedric Alexander is just another level for me.
Yeah, but Buddy's Australian. And I already went against one Australian today on accident.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'd like to see it, but as you said, Cedric is the better competitor, sadly. We also have who's going to be in the UK Championship tournament, the new one, number 2. I don't know if there's a second name or if it's just the 2018 version. But I'll read out the names. You got Joe Coffey from Scotland, Zach Gibson from England, Amir Jordan from Pakistan, but he primarily wrestles in the UK. That's how you get away with it. Kenny Williams from Scotland, El Ligero from England, Dave Mastiff from England, Joseph Connors from England, and little gentleman Jack Gallagher, as well as 8 other people. Now, how many of those do you recognize?
Just Jack Gallagher.
I recognize about 6 of them, so I'm a little bit better off. But I do not have enough knowledge on all of them to be able to sit down and waffle about them.
I'm assuming the winner gets a title, UK title match.
Yep, that's how it is.
So it'd probably occur at a takeover, the title match. So I could actually see, since most of the takeovers now occur alongside WWE pay-per-views.
Yeah.
So I could actually see Jack Gallagher winning the tournament.
Yeah.
Because he would already be in town anyway.
Yeah. More importantly, though, news came out. I'm gonna trust this random Twitter user. Supposedly there are 2 wrestlers who just recently got signed to the UK deal. Joe Coffey's one of them, already announced. The second is my man, Kiwi wrestler Travis Banks.
That would be cool.
Put him in it. Have him win it. Grady be happy. As we know, WWE, you only do stuff to make Grady happy. Yeah, but then he would lose
the title match, and then you wouldn't be happy.
Shush. I would be happy. He could win the title match. How about that? It makes total sense to have a Kiwi carrying your UK promotion. Just let it happen. I want to see him in the tournament at least. I think with the announcement coming out, trusting this random Twitter user, that it's highly likely he's in the tournament. So, cross my fingers for that. Anything that gets Travis Banks more exposure, I'm happy with. Alright, well, we'd better wrap up. It's been great talking to you.
Bye.
And you can visit our Facebook page, facebook.com/WrestlingRadio, or Twitter page, twitter.com/WrestlingRadio. See you next week.